so is the Las Vegas Football Contest Show. Season 2, the sharpest football contest show in the land. Focusing on all 3 Circus Sports contests and the Westgate Superbook Super Contest, we handicap the games and release our contest picks every week of the season. Featuring Super Contest champions Brady Cannon, James Salinas, and former NFL player Mike Pritchard, all team will have you prepared this season like none other. Check us out every weekend right here on SportsGrid.
60,000 drunk New Yorkers who were there from 5 in the morning to 7 p.m., who dropped a house mortgage on a ticket to watch the United States team miss every putt that they can possibly miss, and you think someone's not going to get pissed off and curse people out? Wah! The golf fan wasn't civil. Wah!
The Craig Carton Show. Only on SportsGrid.
$341 million of payroll. Best record in Major League Baseball through June 12th. 5th worst record after that. They would have made the playoffs, as this tweet says, because why? They just needed a win on Sunday versus Miami, and they couldn't beat the Marlins. They have like a $50 million payroll. The Metropolitans are out, but hey guys, did you see Juan Soto's great season?
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
Not betting-wise, action-wise. Like, I got to watch this game at 12.
I want to see Notre Dame, Arkansas.
I want to see. He's in, people. He's in.
I'll tell you another
Notre
game.
Dame.
It's under. I want to see Duke and Syracuse at 12:45.
Nobody wants to see that game.
Nah, stop.
I mean, there's people that we know that would like that game, but we don't want to watch that game. You know what I mean? We're not watching any of that game.
Ricky Collins?
Big
Ricky Collins?
game Saturday, Joe.
Okay,
I need your focus back for this. It's the SEC. It just means more.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
Oh, it's the Early Line, and boy, oh boy, are you ready for today. And by the way, we used to like to say new week, new money. How about new month, new money as we sit here on October the 1st, and it is a hump day. Yes, we're a day away from the NFL getting back into it with the NFC battle between the Los Angeles Rams and the San Francisco 49ers. We had 4 playoffs yesterday in Major League Baseball. We got 4 more today, and elimination is on the table. Questionable decisions, to say the least, by some baseball managers looking at you New York Yankees, but a lot to get to today. The energy is high, Joe. I love it. It's a Wednesday hump day, and our job, as always, get the people to the finish line with all the information that they need to know.
Oh, Donnie, it's been a rough 48 hours, my friend, but it is a good thing that we have got plenty more today to take our minds off of the last couple of nights' results, not to mention getting ready because a lot of interesting moves, a lot of interesting information coming out of college football here in week 6. So I am looking forward to it.
Oh, it certainly is. And by the way, last night you had 15 runs scored in that late game, which we'll get to in just a little bit. The other games look like it was the favorites and the unders here. Sometimes we get angry, and sometimes we need energy today, Joe Ranieri. So when I look over to you, I need some caffeinated Joe.
Oh, Donnie, it has been a rough 48 hours. I find myself in a Groundhog's Day situation right now. Why? Because I'm once again talking about the definition of insanity, Donnie. And again, for those that missed yesterday and that wonderful Jets game the night before, let's talk about this Yankees game. And first, Donnie, let's remind folks that the definition of insanity is that we're just going to keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over and expect a different result. And as much as I thought there is no better example than the New York Jets of this, oh, no. Clinical insanity in all of sports is being a fan of the New York Yankees over the last decade plus. At least the Jets have sucked from their orientation into the NFL, Donnie. We should learn to expect them to be terrible. But the New York Yankees have 27 damn world championships, Donnie, and they can't figure it out every single year. They have a blank check. They can sign anyone. They can trade for anybody. What do? Well, they build the exact same flawed team, a home run or bust lineup, and can't manufacture a run to save its life. And its bullpen, oh boy, duct tape and wishful thinking here, Donnie. And last night's playoff loss, once again to the Red Sox, was the perfect, beautiful, tragic example. It was the Yankees' entire philosophy wrapped up in 9 miserable innings. Max Fried goes out there, absolutely shuts down the Red Sox lineup. He was great. Gives you 6+ scoreless. And what happens? Well, then your billion-dollar offense, what did they do? Absolutely nothing. They give you 1 run, a solo home run from a guy who barely hit 200 this season. That's it. The whole offensive game plan is that hope somebody accidentally hits the ball out of the ballpark. It's pathetic. And oh yeah, by the way, Fried leaves the game. What happens? Yeah, the bullpen. It's been the biggest asset over the last couple of years and part of this team, Donnie. You made the most signings. You made the most trades. You spent the most money trying to make sure that this bullpen was good enough to go. And what happens? Yeah, a walk after being up 0-2, a hustle double because the entire Red Sox team knows that Aaron Judge can probably kick the ball further than throw it. And oh yeah, by the way, Cora playing chess while Boone is playing checkers, people. It was an absolute predictable disaster. That is the New York Yankees, and that is why looking for anything different, Donnie, from them is the pure definition of insanity.
Grab another cup of coffee, people. Joe is hot. And by the way, what do you expect from him, Joe? Bases loaded in the 9th inning to get a base hit or at least put a pop fly 320 feet from home plate and score a run? No! You had to hit the home run in the grand slam and try to be a hero. Instead, you're a 0, baby, because they have 0 wins right now in the wild card round. We'll see if they get eliminated a little bit later today. It's time for the early lineup, Joe. The hottest topics across the sports landscape. Novel concept. Ace on the mound. Let him throw over 100 pitches. Let him dominate. 14 Ks by Tarek Skubal. Detroit goes on the road and knocks off the Guardians. 1-0 series lead. Woo, boy, that's a pitching performance.
Yes, but I should point out this was also our best bet yesterday, Donnie, with the Guardians, a run and a half, and that proved to be exactly more than enough to cash a ticket. Why? Because these two offenses are miserable, Donnie. The idea that they're going to score more than 3 runs in any game is hilarious. So kudos to the Tigers for doing chips all in, right? Tariq Skubal, whatever it takes, we're going to get it done. And they got it done, up 1-0. We'll see how they do today, though.
Fundamental baseball is unbelievable right now in the majors. Like, you have a guy on third base with nobody out, and yet that run doesn't score. You have the Yankees with bases loaded and nobody out and no run score, where you just need 1 to basically tie that game up, or 2 to tie it up, and 3 to win. I mean, don't even get me started. But by the way, let's focus on those Boston Red Sox and those New York Yankees. 3-1 victory for the Boston Red Sox. That's all. You know what? Maybe Fried didn't have his best stuff, but nobody was hitting him. Nobody was threatening him. Pull him out, lose it in the bullpen. But by the way, other side, as you talked about, Joe, wait a second. Crochet threw 117 pitches. I thought once you get to 100, your arm automatically falls off and you're never allowed to pitch again. Ride your horses in the playoffs. Boston did that. Boston won.
Didn't look like he was uncomfortable to me through 6 1/3 innings, but okay, just had to go in and get the bullpen. And boy, Weaver, the one guy that, can't get anybody out over the last 40+ innings that you have tried to use him in the second half of the season. Let's bring him in. Yeah, let's walk a guy on an 0-2 count and then give up a double, and then the wheels begin to fall off, Donnie. You saw it happen in real time again with the Yankees.
I'll tell you what we saw last night, too. The Dodgers bats come out to play, and the best player on the planet by a wide margin, he went yard twice yesterday. That's Shohei Ohtani. 2 for 5, 2 bombs, 3 RBIs. They blast the Cincinnati Reds 10-5.
Donnie, it was over before it started in that game. I mean, the first inning, it felt like it was fine. It was just that Hunter Green was throwing batting practice, and we said it again, right? This guy has been great in Cincinnati, not necessarily at home. And the Dodgers, they made him pay. The bats were out last night for the Dodgers. That game was over by the time we got to the 3rd inning.
I'll tell you what could be over, the Ravens season here. Baltimore Ravens, what is going on here? Lamar Jackson, he might not even be able to come to your rescue for multiple weeks. Hamstring injury. We don't have the true update on the latest here, but we're expecting he's going to miss some time, Joe.
And again, I don't think that he is the biggest issue with this team right now. I think Cooper Rush and that offense and the running game, they should be able to hold the fort down. The problem is going to be that defense and those defensive injuries. That's what we got to keep an eye on. Because remember, Donnie, you've got two teams that will win nothing in that division, the Browns and the Bengals. So all you have to do is be good enough to compete with the Steelers.
Tyreek Hill, successful surgery, but will he have a successful finish to his career? That's something we're going to find out. But his agent, Drew Rosenhaus, he's confident he'll be back next year.
Yeah, so Drew Rosenhaus can get another check from him. Let's be honest here. We'll have to wait and see. He's on the wrong side of healing here at this point, Tyreek, in his career.
Kaprizov making some cash here. Do we have enough time to run that video here for the people?
Big chair, big chair. Better be.
Kaprizov, he got paid.
Yeah, big time, Donnie, and worth every penny, every penny.
And by the way, I'm glad we saved this one for last year. Nafisa Collier upset at the WM. Are they still playing now, Joe? That's my daily question to you. Did they play last night? Does anybody care if they played last night? Do they play tomorrow? We'll never know, but we got more interesting topics next. Spread lines are on the way. Get the latest next on the early line.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
Well, Shadur, which quarterbacks are you talking about? Because there is some bad quarterback play out there, but the dude who can't beat Dylan Gabriel out for a job and can't beat Joe Flacco out for a job certainly can't lay claim to being better than any other quarterback in the league.
The Craig Carton Show. Only on SportsGrid.
Major League Baseball has decided it is time to put balls and strikes not just in the hands of the umpires, but also the robot umpires, as they say. The ABS system is now officially in place starting next season. Now, keep in mind, they're not just throwing this out there. They have used this at the Arizona Fall League, and they've also used it at different levels of the minor leagues as well.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
That's a lot for a closer. 10. That's you're not a closer anymore if you blow 10 games. I mean, my goodness. That's
he's mentally broken too. Like, it's to the point where, like, Dodger fans aren't even mad at him; they're more mad at the Dodgers for putting him out there.
Putting him in.
Right? It's more so.
Right.
Yeah, it's like, guys, like, he's done.
In-game live. Only on SportsGrid. It's the most beautiful time of the year. No, not because of foliage or pumpkin spice lattes. It's because of football. SportsGrid has you covered all season long, covering every snap, every score, and every line move. Prepare, watch, win. Weekends are for winners. Only on SportsGrid.
Today's top spread lines is what we do on the early line. It's a hump day Wednesday, the first day of October. And sometimes we spread lines, Joe Ranieri, to say, let's take a look at some of the day's games today, or maybe tomorrow. But if we have important spread lines in football and college football, most of the big games get played on a Saturday afternoon. But also spread lines are determined here to say, what's the spread and what's the headline of this game and why does it matter to me? Miami versus Florida State, one of the best rivalries in college football history, rekindles with two top 20 teams. Also, Joe, we could have had a much better, I guess, ranked game if Florida State had held on and beat Virginia, but they weren't able to do that. But Miami, Florida State, Doak Campbell Stadium, the spread right now, open 3.5, now sits at 4.5, has a favorite to the Hurricanes in a 53.5. Miami, Florida State, spread line for you, Joe. What is it?
Well, keep in mind here, I mean, this one's a huge one, especially for Miami, Donnie, because if they win, their path to the ACC championship game is about as easy and as carved out as humanly possible here, because Miami, I mean, SMU, they're going to be a big favorite. They're going to be just about a big favorite, almost 2 touchdowns in every game from here on out. So if they win this game, they punch their ticket to the college football playoff, barring any sort of, disaster that we have seen in years past. But the look-ahead line for this was Miami 6. 6 turned into 5.5, 5.5 turned into 5, 5 to 4.5. Now we're seeing 4s, Donnie, in this. It has been a steady stream of Florida State money in the marketplace. But the thing that I'm keeping an eye on here, keep an eye on this total. Why? It hasn't moved. We're talking about a offense in Florida State that averages 55 points a game here, Donnie, that just got exposed by Virginia, of all teams here. And now, while Miami's defense only giving up just about 15 points a game, let's be realistic. They haven't faced anybody the caliber of Florida State's offense just yet. Notre Dame was able to put money on it. Why is this still at 54? It has not moved. I would grab it now because I think there's going to be a ton of over money before kickoff.
Let's go. Miami, Florida State, Saturday night in the ACC, the place to be here. Let's flip it up here. How about this? Oklahoma State and Arizona. Arizona opened up as a 16.5-point favorite, Joe. We're now seeing 20.5s in the marketplace in a 55.5 total. Oklahoma State post-Gundy right now. What's the spread line here, Joe?
All right, so listen, this is hilarious, and I have to mention this, Donnie, because it's my alma mater. But you're right. They fired Gundy, right? And then the first game after Gundy is Baylor last week. And listen, they looked way more competent against Baylor than they did against anybody else, right? The problem is, they gave up over 600 yards of offense to Baylor at home last week, Donnie. So you know what Oklahoma State did? They now fired their defensive coordinator, Todd Grantham, after this game. So now, I don't know, do you get the push for the fired coordinators as you got him for the head coach? The bottom line is, whether it's Grantham, you, me, or anybody else coaching the defense of Oklahoma State, the reality is team totals absolutely on the docket for anybody Oklahoma State plays, including this one against Arizona, Donnie. They are a hot mess, this team. A lot of different ways to fade Oklahoma State moving forward this season.
What it feels to me, Joe, a lot of jailbreaks in that secondary there where nobody knows what they're doing, and guys will be wide open this weekend, something to watch out for. How about Duke in California? Weird to say that this is an ACC game, but it is, Joe. Duke on the road, a favorite of 2.5 to 3, depending on where you're shopping at, and a total now up to 56.5, which was posted at 52.5. The spread line for Duke, California. What is it, Joe?
Yeah, starting to see those 2.5s here now, opened up with Duke at 3.5. But you nailed it, Donnie. The spread line here to keep in mind is that, yes, this is an ACC game. But when you look at what these two teams, the traveling that they have had to do, Duke has now got to travel cross country. And we know that teams that have to keep doing this whole crisscross thing here, and that's the biggest issue with the ACC. Yeah, it's not great. I mean, we're talking Duke crossing 3 time zones to play at 10:30 p.m. internal time, which is not great here. This is the 3rd road game in 4 weeks for Duke. They traveled to Syracuse. They traveled to Tulane. Now they're traveling to Cal. And by the way, Cal is returning home after back-to-back road games. They had to cross 3 trips as well. San Diego State, now Boston College. Now they got to travel back home here. So both these teams are going to be very road weary here. I'd be careful if you think one team has a leg up on the other in this one.
Minnesota, the Vikings, they're on a European vacation right now. They're going to take on Cleveland for game 2 overseas and maybe come away with a win. But how about this? Carson Wentz is the starting quarterback for Minnesota. Dylan Gabriel expected to start for the Cleveland Browns. The total in this game, 35.5 and a 3.5 point favorite for Minnesota. The spread line, Joe, overseas is what?
Yeah, well, again, we were wondering whether or not this change was going to take center stage, Donnie, and it has. So kudos to the Browns for figuring it out. But to me, this is all about, again, the total. Keep in mind, Minnesota has been overseas now over the last couple of weeks. It's going to be a little travel spot. It's going to be a young quarterback. It's going to be issues with the offensive line. This total is low, Donnie, and it is low for a reason. Keep in mind, the banged-up offensive line for Carson Wentz is also a big issue against that front here. First half unders, full game totals, team totals, all on the table here with this game coming up, Donnie.
How about this one? You want to get put into the torture chamber? Sit down and watch the New York Giants and the New Orleans Saints. Dart versus Rattler opened up as a favorite slightly towards the Giants. Now swaying over to New Orleans as high as -2.5 at certain outlets. And a total, Joe, around 41 to 40.5, depending on where you're shopping at. The spread line for Dart and Rattler is what?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you right now, I mean, the public seems to like the Giants a lot here, but I don't know that we're going to see that come kickoff here. I mean, the Giants, great. Jackson Dart, great. First road game, not great. And by the way, the Saints aren't quit on anybody here. Keep an eye on this. I do think it's going to rise, and I do think you're going to see a lot more Saints money before you see Giants money here before kickoff.
Yeah, a little bit different for a quarterback starting at home now going on the road in a tough environment. Maybe the Saints fans, I guess, will be excited at this point now. We don't know, but we'll see where that spread gets by the time we get the game time. But we got to kick it around the NFL and get to the latest, which includes Lamar Jackson. How long is he expected to miss, and how long can the Ravens afford him to miss? Coming up next.
That team are going to stretch them over the top, but I still think it's blue-collar football, Big Ten style. That's where USC has struggled. I do not think Lincoln Riley, I'm sorry, is a good head coach. He's a great quarterback whisperer. He coaches from an offensive coordinator position, doesn't make halftime adjustments, and that's where I give the edge to Bielema. I don't like this game, but I would take the points with Illinois.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
There were some reports earlier this week that Russell Wilson may be sought after somewhat during the trade deadline. A lot of people have been talking about Jameis shipping him to the Bengals as they just need a quarterback to throw the ball. I think they need to move Russell Wilson out. Even though he says he does not want to be moved, you got to get back an asset if you can.
Oh, you do. Does he go to a team like the Saints? Where does he go?
Pro Football Today. Only on SportsGrid.
It's time to sell high. Let's sell high now, Joe. Give me some sneaky sneakies. What do you got?
Yeah, it's Matt's favorite way to sell. Everybody knows that. All right, let's talk about David Montgomery. Look, Montgomery had a big total last week, but really most of it was on one big run. I still feel like Jahmyr Gibbs is the guy here as you continue to move forward with Detroit. I'm not saying you have to get rid of him for nothing.
Fantasy Sports Today. Only on SportsGrid. It's the most beautiful time of the year. No, not because of foliage or pumpkin spice lattes. It's because of football. SportsGrid has you covered all season long, covering every snap, every score, and every line move. Prepare, watch, win. Weekends are for winners. Only on SportsGrid.
Baltimore, the most talented team in the NFL. Baltimore is going to finally break through the season. It's Baltimore's time. Look at Kansas City. That's a putrid franchise. They open up the season 0-2. It's Baltimore's year. Night number 1 in the NFL. Sunday Night Football. Baltimore is hammering the Buffalo Bills. Until they weren't. Now we sit at 1-3 for the Baltimore Ravens. Now we see Lamar Jackson with a hamstring injury, and he could miss 2 to 3 weeks. The Baltimore Ravens in shambles. It is a long season, but not long if you open up 1-4, 1-5, 1-6. Now, I don't think they're going to do that, but my goodness, have you seen a team more injury-rattled to superstar players and key components than the Ravens are right out of the jump? All right, 49ers, I'm looking at you two. What gives here in Baltimore, Joe?
Yeah, well, it's unfortunate across the board, but I still think that this Ravens team has bigger issues to be concerned with in the short term because you're not going to lose. It doesn't sound like you're going to lose Lamar for the entire season. So there is a shot that as long as you can, in that division, Donnie, we're still looking at one team is who you've got to basically be better than, and that is the Steelers. And you and I both know the Steelers are very fortunate to be sitting at 3-1. There is a reason why Baltimore 24 hours ago was still the odds-on favorite to win the AFC North here. So even if you lose Lamar a couple of weeks, you got to get that defense healthy. You got to get those guys on that side of the ball coming together because I think they can stay afloat until you can get Lamar back. You only got one team to worry about. It's not the Browns or the Bengals. It's just the Steelers.
What an interesting game, too, because Cooper Rush is going to get the start here. Houston won last week. Their defense is very good, but their offense is struggling. But now everybody's injured for Baltimore. I'm telling you right now, Joe, I look at that 40.5 and say, oh, it's got to be way under. I don't know about that now. 45.5 down to 40.5. I now start looking at that and going, Cooper Rush has been around the block. What, he can't get 15 to 20 points here? And Houston with that banged up defense and everybody's lighting the world up on that Ravens defense. Why can't we get 40 points in that game? Something to keep an eye out there for a contrarian sort of look. If we're looking for contrarian action, well, I guess it's not contrarian that, Tyreek Hill is going to be out for the season, but we're getting a lot of optimism here, which I don't know about. This isn't a 21-year-old football player, a devastating knee injury that basically blew, the kneecap and also multiple ligaments. But I was like, surgery, awesome. Be back for next year. He might be back for next year, but the Tyreek Hill we're used to, Joe, electric on the field where nobody can catch him. People are going to be catching him now, Joe.
Yeah, it's not great. He's just on that wrong side of 30 there, Donnie, where you're just not going to heal like you used to heal. Now, does that mean that he can't get another contract and the team won't give him money here if he's, let's say, 70% of what he was? No, it doesn't. It's the NFL. Of course, they'll squeeze every last drop out of Tyreek Hill they can. But, Tyreek Hill at 100% with no knee issues is a different player than one that is going to take a little while to try to get back and then may never be back to 100% Tyreek Hill, which is beatable. Donnie, let's be reasonable. He won't be the weapon that he was before the injury.
Tampa Bay Bucks probably down their best weapon at wide receiver, Mike Evans, for at least a couple more weeks with a hamstring injury. But hey, at least there's Bucky Irvin, electric out of the backfield, sensational year last year, and looks like he was on that edge of doing dominant things again. But how about this? Mike Garofalo is reporting here. Bucky Irving is still gathering medical opinions on what's being termed an ankle and or foot injury, sources tell me, and rap sheet. That's not good news for the Seattle Seahawks coming to town. Maybe they can steal one, but come on now. What's the deal, Bucky? We need you down in Tampa.
Yeah, he's a big part of what they're doing, and they are, listen, I don't know that they were going to be able to run the ball anyway on Seattle all that much, but I believe they still have White behind it. They still have an ability to be able to run the ball. He is a big part of that offense, but styles make fights, right, Donnie? So this is going to be one of those situations where Baker Mayfield is going to have to outduel Sam Darnold here because I don't think Seattle's going to be running the ball that much either in this one.
Yeah, the play in question there was the one that he fumbled, which is interesting, where his wrist hit the ground, but it's still called it a fumble at that point. Looks like he banged up that foot end or ankle. If it's a foot sprain, that's terrible. You're actually hoping it's an ankle sprain at this point. I'll tell you, there's another spraining his MTL. It's Braylon Allen, another running back, got twisted up in that Miami game. Boy, the injuries and the anger, it just keeps piling up for Jets fans right now. There is no tomorrow, as Carl Weathers used to say in Rocky.
Yeah, and Donnie, it wasn't like he got hurt running the ball as a running back. It was a kick return that he ended up. Why is he returning? Like, what are we doing? here, Jets? What are we doing?
Where's
Unbelievable.
Gibson at when you need him? Yeah, where's Gibson at when you need him? Oh, that's right. They cut him and he's in Philadelphia at this point right now. Are you getting excited, people? Because next, we're going to talk the New York Yankees. Booney's on deck. Did he make the right decision? Absolutely not.
That team are going to stretch them over the top, but I still think it's blue-collar football, Big Ten style. That's where USC has struggled. I do not think Lincoln Riley, I'm sorry, is a good head coach. He's a great quarterback whisperer. He coaches from an offensive coordinator position, doesn't make halftime adjustments, and that's where I give the edge to Bielema. I don't like this game, but I would take the points with Illinois.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
There were some reports earlier this week that Russell Wilson may be sought after somewhat on during the trade deadline. A lot of people have been talking about Jameis shipping him to the Bengals as they just need a quarterback to throw the ball. I think they need to move Russell Wilson out. Even though he says he does not want to be moved, you got to get back an asset if you can.
Oh, you do. Does he go to a team like the Saints? Where does he go?
Pro Football Today. Only on SportsGrid.
It's time to sell high. Let's sell high now, Joe. Give me some sneaky sneakies. What do you got?
Yeah, it's Matt's favorite way to sell. Everybody knows that. All right, let's talk about David Montgomery. Look, Montgomery had a big total last week, but really most of it was on one big run. I still feel like Jahmyr Gibbs is the guy here as you continue to move forward with Detroit. I'm not saying you have to get rid of him for nothing.
Fantasy Sports Today. Only on SportsGrid. It's the most beautiful time of the year. No, not because of foliage or pumpkin spice lattes. It's because of football. SportsGrid has you covered all season long, covering every snap, every score, and every line move. Prepare, watch, win. Weekends are for winners. Only on SportsGrid.
We talked about it all season long. It's Donnie Wrights out. It's Joe Ranieri. It's Major League Baseball. It's the wild card round. SportsGrid Network right here on the early line. And when you have aces on your staff, that's when you're saying, boy, I don't want to run into that guy in the playoffs. This is what we talked about for the Detroit Tigers all year. Like, yes, we thought they would win the division. They actually didn't end up winning the division, but they still made it into the playoffs. But no Major League Baseball team on this planet, Joe, is like, you know what's going to be awesome? We got to play Detroit in a short series because we're going to see Tarek Skubal in game number 1 and immediately behind the 8 ball. That's what you got, people. Skubal was fantastic yesterday. 7 2/3 innings pitched, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 14 strikeouts, and they let him pitch over 100 pitches. Now, granted, the bottom of the 9th inning was absolutely insane crazy, where an error allowed a player to be on third base with no outs, and they didn't score any runs. That's baseball, as I like to say. But Tarek Skubal, he did his part for the Tigers yesterday, Joe.
Yeah, absolutely he did, and they had to win that game, Donnie. We had said it all week long. I mean, listen, he has faced this Guardians team, it feels like, for the entire month of September. The other 2 times he faced them, he pitched outstanding, but again, the bullpen gave way, and they ended up losing both of his starts. It was clear that Hinch and company were not allowing that to happen here in this game, that they were going to use him as long as they could in order to be able to give themselves the best chance. They scored that run late to go up 2-1, and then that was it. They held on. And again, both these teams struggling offense. They're not good offenses. So I don't know that we're going to get a ton of offense ever with these 2 teams moving forward, but it's a game Detroit had to have, and their ace gave it to them, Donnie.
Yeah, it feels like that series, Joe, is just designed to be 2-1, 3-1, 3-2 every single day that they're going to play. And that is playoff baseball. It's not a true hitter's ballpark. It's a pitcher's ballpark. And yes, you had two good pitchers on the mound. That's what you got here. But capitalizing with runners in scoring position is going to be key throughout the playoffs. Like, you can scream about it all summer long where you're going up against bad bullpens and somebody eventually is going to hit. But you are getting flamethrower after flamethrower after flamethrower right now, which brings us up to our next game, Joe. The Chicago Cubs and the San Diego Padres, a 3-1 final. I like the Padres yesterday. The Padres had a 1-0 lead heading into the bottom of the fifth. But, Joe, it shouldn't have been a 1-0 lead. You constantly had traffic on the bases with runners in scoring position for the Padres, and they just couldn't cash in. And as you talked about a lot yesterday, that Chicago Cubs bullpen is really good, and they held it down. From the second inning on, no runs crossed the plate. Only 4 total hits for the San Diego Padres in this one, and the Cubs come away with a 3-1 victory.
We talked about it yesterday too, Donnie, and I said that, listen, it's power hitters, you know, a team that can hit home runs is a very dangerous team in the postseason because it's the great equalizer, right? We talked about that bullpen, but we also said the Cubs are a better power hitting team than the Padres are. And that is, you know, back to a couple of solo home runs back to back. And that was it. That was all she wrote, ended up being for the Padres, who could not manufacture enough hits and runs, Donnie, like you said, in order to overcome that and that bullpen. So big first win here for the Cubs in that spot there. Good job.
Like, look at the first 5 innings, Joe. The top of the second inning, you had a double by Jackson Merrill to start. Bogart's double, then goes to third on an error. So there's nobody out, 1-0, runner on third base. Ground out, pop out, ground out. No more runs scored. Then you fast forward to the 4th inning here. Machado walks, sacrifice bunt to second base, another infield single. First and second with nobody out, with one out, but a 1-0 lead. You got no runs in there, and you just hand the momentum back over. Let's just say you got 1 run in each of those. That means it's 3-0 Padres, and you're sort of in cruise control, where now you start to hear the grumbles and the groans of the home crowd. Weren't able to do that. Credit to Chicago Cubs. They held it down, but if you're not going to win in Major League Baseball playoffs unless you're doing the small things, with scoring runners with under 2 outs from third base. That should be happening much more than it is certainly right now. How about the Bronx yesterday? Oh, boy, 3-1 victory here for the Red Sox. A lot of question marks coming up, and one of the biggest question marks was, you have a pitcher that's doing just fine on the mound. Did you pull him a little bit early? Here's Booney talking after the game of his explanation.
It seems kind of jarring to face a sudden death game this early in the postseason, but how do you think your team's temperament matches up with that reality?
Yeah, look, we've been playing these, type games for a while now. We've been playing with a lot on the line seemingly every single day. So tonight was a great baseball game that, we just couldn't get that final punch in. So we'll be ready to go, and I expect us to come out and get one tomorrow.
Oh, yes.
Woo, boy. And we're going to start here with this one, Joe. Now, they lost the game yesterday 3-1. It was a close game. Yes, he's right about that. But you want to talk about major mistakes being made, one by the manager and one by the team. The first one, we'll start here with Booney pulling his pitcher, Max Fried, who's having a great start. 6 1/3 innings pitched, no earned runs. Oh, no, he threw 102 pitches. He couldn't get 2 more outs in that point, or you couldn't let him go into another runner, reach base. And then comes up, as always, base knock, bases loaded, nobody out, and nobody can score a run here. The Yankees, everything that you had hoped for, let's just say not hoped for as a Yankee fan, came to fruition yesterday. Bad managing, unclutch performances at the plate, Joe.
Yeah, Donnie, just absolutely ridiculous. And Chapman, of all people, by the way, is the guy that you got bases loaded and nobody out. And the question is, Donnie, too, and I saw this stat and I could not believe it. You know how many times in postseason history a team loaded the bases with nobody out in the 9th inning in a game in which they've been trailing and did not score a run? It's happened now, Donnie, 121 times in postseason history in the World Series era. Yeah, there was only one other time a team did that. It was your Phillies back in 2008, but they did go on to win the World Series. The Yankees, yeah, congratulations. Once again, at home, and could not get one run across with bases loaded trailing in the bottom of the 9th.
Now, understand this. We do have 4 more baseball games today, Joe. Elimination is on the table. Like you just talked to Boone, like that's as devastating a loss as you're going to have, because it wasn't the Blue Jays coming to town or the Guardians coming to town. This were your hated rivals where you're a manager and you made the wrong decision. Now, you could say like, well, over 100 pitches, I thought, and maybe the bullpen comes in and shuts it down, Joe, but they didn't here. So what do you think the managing is going to be like today when you say, okay, Carlos Rodon is on the mound? He's at 98 pitches in the 6th inning in a 1-0 game. Does Booney go, well, I'm going to go back to what I did yesterday? Or, oh, no, they're going to kill me if I don't leave this guy in. Like, we're at a crossroads right now for Booney, aren't we?
Yeah, well, we are. But again, we're also at a crossroads with this lineup. I mean, you got imagine seeing a guy 4 or 5 times now in a season, Donnie, and you can't figure it out. Like, Volpe's the only guy that figured out Crochet. Like, you can't figure out how to put runs on the board or to beat Crochet. I mean, it's laughable, especially when Aaron Judge is in that lineup here. But the good news is the rest of the way here, I mean, Bayo's a contact pitcher. Yankees won't be striking out double-digit times in this game. So, but the problem with the Yankees, the Padres, the Reds, and the Guardians is that since this current format began in 2022, Donnie, no team that lost the opener in a best-of-3 has gone on to advance. None.
Tough scene. Home team needs to rise up. I'll tell you where a home team rose up yesterday. Oh, my goodness. You can actually score runs in Major League Baseball playoffs here? Who would have thought that? 15 total runs scored between the Dodgers and the Reds, but 10 of those 15 came from the Dodgers. How about 2 knocks there for Shohei Ohtani, along with 3 RBIs? And then you take a look at, another guy in the lineup hit 2 home runs. That was Teoscar Hernandez. He had 4 RBI. The Dodgers superstars provided the power last night. They win with ease.
Yeah. 6-homer game, Donnie. And that game was over before it started. I mean, Ohtani gets up and absolutely tees off. And the first at bat there in the bottom of the 1st inning, offer Hunter Green, who had absolutely nothing to offer here again on the road. And that was it. I mean, just too much Dodger firepower there. And you dig yourself a hole against them. You're not coming back, no matter how iffy that bullpen is.
Now, by the way, you're right about that iffy bullpen. That's the next point here. They won easily, yes, but 2 runs given up in the 7th inning, 3 runs given up in the 8th inning. It was just trying to get out of that game. Something to certainly keep an eye on at that point. Let's handicap 4 more games today. Get you ready for these wild card action rounds. Coming up next, right here on the early line.
Now let's get to a player who was taken in the 1st round of every fantasy football draft, and thus far, it's produced the least points, George. I mean, I thought you'd just take a rookie running back in the 1st round and you get yourself 1,500 yards and 10 touchdowns. But Boise State's Ashton Genty for the Las Vegas Raiders, we got out of excuses, right? Like at this point, it's, they got to give him the ball more. They got to do this. They got to do that. I mean, George, does this guy look like Barry Sanders? Like, that was the comparisons? Like, I haven't seen any of that yet.
Our panicometer, it doesn't go high enough here. All right, because this is, come on, we're freaking out here. I don't think it's all Genty, by the way. He has more yards after contact than before contact. That pretty much lets you know what the problem is there. All right, the Raiders needed a running back, sure, but they need an offensive line. All right, they need a couple of offensive linemen. It's not something you can fix in one off season here. So yeah, we're gonna eat it with Genty. He's not gonna be worth the 1st round pick in fantasy. Just not this year. In future years we'll see here, but not this year. The offensive line is not very good. The defense is not very good, so they have to throw the ball more in the 2nd inning. They're trailing every game, so that's hurting us as well here. So like I said, the panicometer. It doesn't go high enough for this. Okay, I am more than concerned. I am not calm. I am critical. I am flipping out.
Isn't there going to be a time where he just breaks it free, George? Like what you said is not false, but I think there's a point being missed here. Why has he not broken free one time the whole season? Not once to just run away. Like he's Devin Singletary right now. No offense to Devin Singletary, but that's who he is.
Fantasy Sports Today. Fridays starting at 3 p.m. Eastern, only on SportsGrid.
Handicap in Major League Baseball is tough, but sometimes, Joe, I equate it to, you know what, like everybody's excited for opening day, except me. Like I like RBI props, I like team totals to the over, I like to see I can try to, get around a bad pitcher and a bad bullpen. Well, yesterday, all aces were on the mound. In the first 3 games, you saw what that means. Lower scoring games. Now, maybe Hunter Green isn't an ace, and maybe the bullpens run up to par there in that Reds-Dodgers game, and he got a lot of runs. But that's sort of the outlier. So today, though, Joe, the aces are not on the mound. The number 2s and sometimes number 3s, and heck, maybe even a bullpen effort because you're about to get eliminated. That's what makes it a lot of fun to handicap today. Same times as yesterday, 108, 308, 608, and 908 are the start times today. And we're going to start in Detroit. It's the Tigers and the Guardians. Detroit wins, they move on. Cleveland wins, game number 3 tomorrow from Cleveland. Line opened up here around that minute 120s range. Still sitting there, Joe. Minus 124s, minus 132s out there in the sports landscape. And yet another low total of 6.5. Mize versus Bybee. Are the numbers too low now, Joe, that we don't have a Scooble start?
I am shocked that the total opened up at 7, Donnie, and then it was quickly bet down to 6.5. And listen, it makes sense. Again, 2 of the worst offenses in Major League Baseball down the stretch here. And listen, the Guardians have been terrible. We know this all year long. It's an anemic offense. This starting pitching has been absolutely dominant in the second half, going to a 6-man rotation, giving guys a little extra rest, and it paid off for them. They were able to get to this point. But don't expect a ton of runs, even against Mize in this spot. And Bybee has been great at home down the stretch here. He's always been a better pitcher at home than he's been on the road. And the biggest fault of this Tigers lineup, Donnie, is they can't hit right-handed pitching. They hit lefties better, which will be interesting because if the Guardians win today, who do they throw tomorrow? Is it going to be, are they going to cobble together a bullpen right-handed game, or are they going to go with the lefty? So, but right now, again, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Nothing these 2 teams have done offensively should lead anybody to believe this is the breakout game. I don't think it is.
Yeah. No, I think you're right about that, too. And also understand this, like if Casey Mize in the first inning lets 2 runners on base, he's probably going to get pulled immediately. Same thing with Bybee. Like the stakes right now to win this game are high. It's not like, oh, we're going to burn our bullpen. They don't think about it like that. All you're looking to do is win a game and advance at this point, where you would give a superstar starter a little bit more of a leash. Not the case today. Game number 2, San Diego and Chicago. I'll tell you, watching that game yesterday, Joe, guys didn't hit with runners in scoring position. That's one thing. And yes, we did have a couple solo home runs from Chicago, but there was a lot of baseballs hit to the warning track yesterday where the wind was blowing in and really affected it. Today, again, the wind is going to be blowing in, same sort of temperatures as we saw yesterday, around 8 to 10 miles per hour. Cease versus Kittredge on the mound, and a opening number of around a minus 120 price. You'll see the graphic there. Now we're down to minus 112s through minus 110s, depending where you're shopping at. And the total, Joe, that opened up at 7, automatically bet down to 6.5 again today. Are the Padres going to stave off elimination, or the Cubs bullpen just too much for those Padres bats?
Well, Kittredge is going to open. Imanaga is set for the bulk relief. So everyone needs to understand that the lefty will be coming in and trying to shut him down. And he's had a problem with the home run ball this season here. He's not nearly as good as he was a year ago. But I am fascinated with the Dylan Cease move here, Donnie. And I think because there were question marks heading into this postseason, like, was he even going to make the roster? Were they going to utilize him? Because he's been horrific this year, especially on the road here. But I think what they're thinking is the Padres, there is no tomorrow, right, Donnie? So that bullpen, they'll come in a heartbeat. Second inning, third inning, they will unload that bullpen to win this game at all costs. So if they can get, I think anything they can get from Dylan Cease past the third inning, I think is gravy for them at that point. And I think that's how they're approaching it. But feels like another low-scoring game here.
Yeah, it's one of those, Joe, which I think you're talking about too. It's high leverage situations where it's like, if we get the cease that we think we can get, this lightning in a bottle, he's the guy that can go 5 innings pitch, Joe, 12 strikeouts and really carry you. But you're right about this. When you're down in the series, if Cease is in trouble early, man, we were hoping to get at least 3 out of Cease. We only got 2 innings out of Cease. They'll go right to that bullpen and just try to match batter for batter the rest of the game and say, oh, no, we're going to blow our bullpen up. What? You're going to save your bullpen? You lose the game, you go home for the actual off season? You're not doing that here. All hands on deck in losing situations, and that qualifies for the Padres today. Boston and New York, Bayo versus Rodon. Heavy favorite for the New York Yankees at a minus 172 price is high. It's minus 185 at BetMGM. A total listed at 7.5. Do we get runs today here, particularly from the New York Yankees?
Yeah, well, I mean, listen, advantage Yankees. Rodon versus Bayo, absolutely advantage Yankees here. I mean, Rodon has been absolutely the ace in many aspects here. He's been one of the most consistent pitchers that we have seen here. He just beat Boston last month in pretty dominant fashion here. It's one game. The Yankees have been there and done that before. Bayo's not like Crochet. He's not a guy that's going to overpower this lineup. He's a pitch to contact guy, which could be very scary in this spot here against the Yankees. So, yeah, I think it's advantage Rodon. But again, I would not betting the Yankees. I had him in the first 5 last night, Donnie. You know why? Because I didn't trust the bullpen. I got the Yankees in the first 5 again today, Donnie. You know why? Because I don't trust the bullpen here. But the Yankees should get the Bayo before the Red Sox get the Rodon.
Somebody's got to step up and hit a long ball, Joe. Look at that short porch in right field, man. Somebody go after that today. Talking about you, Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton here. Final game of the night, once again, 9:08 start on the West Coast. It's Cincinnati and Los Angeles. Littell's going up against Yamamoto, and a monster favorite here for the Dodgers. Minus 255s in a playoff game, and a total listed at 8. What that tells me is Yamamoto probably will dominate the Reds, and the Dodgers will score just enough runs to win this baseball game, and then they'll head into Philadelphia. It's almost a shame. Like, if the Reds get swept, we probably would have had a little bit more fun laughing at least at the Mets, or maybe the Mets could have pulled off a surprise against the Dodgers, but it is what it is. Dodgers looking to close them out today, Joe.
Well, they better, and they better play from in front, because that bullpen, Donnie, is, listen, it's not going to be a problem against the Reds. But as the Dodgers move on, it's going to be a problem, I'm telling you. And I think it's a good opportunity, because we know they're always going to be shaded favorites. There's always overvaluing the Dodgers is what it's all about. There's more money in fading the Dodgers in spots than there is trying to back them here. They'll be fine against the Reds. It's everyone else I'm worried about.
I mean, you take a look at that 8 total. Like, if you translate that to the regular season, that's like 11.5, baby. We got more football to talk next. Thursday night football, that is.
Well, Shadur, which quarterbacks are you talking about? Because there is some bad quarterback play out there, but the dude who can't beat Dylan Gabriel out for a job and can't beat Joe Flacco out for a job certainly can't lay claim to being better than any other quarterback in the league.
The Craig Carton Show. Only on SportsGrid.
That's a lot for a closer. 10. That's you're not a closer anymore if you blow 10 games. I mean, my goodness. That's
he's mentally broken too. Like, it's to the point where, like, Dodger fans aren't even mad at him; they're more mad at the Dodgers for putting him out there.
Putting him in.
Right? It's more so.
Right.
Yeah, it's like, guys, like, he's done.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Major League Baseball has decided it is time to put balls and strikes not just in the hands of the umpires, but also the robot umpires, as they say. The ABS system is now officially in place starting next season. Now, keep in mind, they're not just throwing this out there. They have used this at the Arizona Fall League, and they've also used it at different levels of the minor leagues as well.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
everything changed at that point. They went and got Jonquel Jones, and they really had that triple threat monster team. That second year they lost in the WNBA Finals, 3-1 against the Las Vegas Aces. Year 3, they finally get over the top hump. And you can question whether they should have won the title with that foul call late in Game 5 that sent Breanna Stewart to the foul line.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
The battle of attrition, Joe Ranieri. That's what we're going to talk about next. Thursday Night Football doesn't help NFL teams, particularly the road team, because, wait a second. We just played in 150 car crashes on Sunday. Now you're telling me on Thursday Night Football, I got to do 150 more car crashes with my guys? Yes, that's what the NFL asks you to do. That's why you get paid the big bucks, and we need to sell those Amazon Prime and Netflix accounts on Thursday nights so you can make all that money and live in your plush mansions. So you deal with it here. San Francisco starting quarterback, to be determined. Brock Purdy hasn't practiced this week. Brock Purdy came into last week's game against the Jaguars as damaged goods. He left even more damaged goods. Could it be Mr. Mack showing up once again at quarterback this weekend? Matthew Stafford, he's doing just fine. Multiple touchdown passes late in that fourth quarter gave them the victory over the Indianapolis Colts. But Joe, we had a look-ahead line in this game, -3 for the Los Angeles Rams. Do you know I'm staring at most outlets at 6.5 across the board? The derivative for that is, who the heck is playing for San Francisco in this game Thursday night?
Absolutely no idea, Donnie, which is why I would not be trying to put, a square peg in a round hole here. Look at it in a totally different ball game like I did. When this total opened up at 47.5, Donnie, it was one of the first bets I made to the under here.
Sharp.
Short week. Injuries everywhere across the board. Much easier to anticipate Shanahan coming up with, listen, you got to be able to run the ball, right? Whoever the quarterback is going to be, if you're going to be asking them to drop back 30, 40 times against the pass rush of the Rams, it's going to be a recipe for disaster here. So I think both these teams are going to be more than happy to try to win this game in the trenches, Donnie. That's where it's got to be won. So no matter who's going for the 49ers, I do think this is a game on a short week. The Rams are good. I mean, they have been, I think, under McVay, 8-1-1 against the number when playing on 4 or fewer days rest. So they have been pretty good here. But at the same time, I don't know that I'm running to lay a touchdown here with the Rams. I think the total's the better angle.
The Joker used to say this to Batman, riddle me this, Batman. I'm going to ask you a question which I'm not quite adding up right now. We always talk about sometimes you can get good numbers early in the week or maybe guess on the information, make an educated guess on what you think is going to happen. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Christian McCaffrey's a really good running back. We understand that. You don't have your starting tight end in George Kittle. Your offensive line has been decent, to say the least, to start the season, not all that banged up. But the wide receiver position is decimated. We don't know if Pearsall's going to play in this game. We don't know if Juwan Jennings is going to play in this game. So 243.5 is the passing prop for Brock Purdy, who's telling you, I can't practice this week. I'm coming in as damaged goods. You want me to throw for over 250 yards on a Thursday night on turf against a division rival? Am I missing that? How's it 243.5, Joe?
Yeah, it's a great question. And the only thing I can come up with, Donnie, is that he's going to be playing from behind in this game. And as he does that, you know what's going to have to happen. It's going to be dink and dunk city. It's going to be screens to McCaffrey all over the place, which seems to be really what their offense has been here with all the injuries to the wide receiving core. So, yeah, I think if I'm doing anything, I'm probably not looking at Brock Purdy's passing yards. I'm probably looking at McCaffrey's receiving yards because he's going to get a bulk of those dink and dunks and screens and everything else.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the FanDuel Sportsbook right now, Joe. Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, Jordan Whittington, Kyron Williams, and Tutu Atwell listed at wide receiving yards props here. Nothing for the 49ers, which, again, is funny where we don't know who's at wide out. Somebody has to play at an NFL level to get close to 250 passing yards. And we're not talking about Patrick Mahomes like, oh, he'll make it happen. He's healthy and he can run around. Like Brock Purdy has a toe injury, which limits his ability to move in the pocket against a team that's going to know that and say, Well, wait, it's not like you have Randy Moss in his prime on the other side where we have to give a lot of, cushion and we have to pay attention to. Who are you paying attention to the pass catchers for the 49ers in this game? That's the way I look at it. So for me, I don't love laying a big number on Thursday night, but you're asking me just simplicity, Joe, who's going to win the game? It's the Rams. And yes, you're right. The 47.5 absolutely should be 46.5 because two things happen here. These two teams know each other absolutely like the backhand, like they're back of their hand. Like, yeah, I can read what's on the playbook. And number two, everybody's injured. And number three, Joe, it's a short work week on a Thursday.
Correct. Yes. And I think Williams is poised to have a big game for the Rams on the ground here. I mean, he with 13 rushes, 77 yards against the Colts. He had 20 for 94 against the good Eagles defensive front. And that's why I think there's no reason to think that they won't continue to pound the rock against a mediocre, middle-of-the-road 49ers defense that doesn't have Bosa. So, yeah, I'm all for looking to back a lot of the props on the Rams side this week.
Yeah, Kyron Williams, minus 210 to score a touchdown. They don't want you to bet him, which means you should be betting them on Thursday Night Football. Top of the hour power coming up next. Let's get to it.